Hey everyone, this is a recorded reading for the collective. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get you to get into a comfortable spot, maybe close your eyes, get a pillow, a blanket, water, anything to keep you comfy. Make sure you're not distracted in this process and you can really tune into the messages and guidance that is being shared. Basically, I have no idea what is going to come of this reading. All I'm going to do is I'm going to get into my space, I'm going to tap into the collective, and I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. It may make sense, it may not make sense. It may resonate, it may not resonate. If it doesn't resonate, then the message isn't for you. And if it does resonate, then this is exactly who this was made for. So just sit back, relax, take some deep breaths. I might guide you through some deep breaths just at the beginning, but we'll kind of see what happens when I get in there. So yeah, I'm just gonna get you to get comfortable and listen to the music while I get ready in my space, and I'll just start walking you through what I'm seeing. Okay. So basically what I'm seeing here is this guide has come through. It feels very angelic, and they are speaking about how we are just over this, I want to say hump, but like kind of like they're saying crest, but I don't think that, I don't know. If you imagine like you're on a roller coaster and you're getting to the top of the roller coaster, and you know how it almost feels like that, going over that little hump of the roller coaster before you go downwards. It's almost like it's showing me like you're almost there. Like it feels like humanity is like almost at this like free fall, a good free fall. It doesn't feel like scary, like maybe a roller coaster might not be a good analogy for some people because that feels scary, but or you know, it just feels like I'm just seeing it as like this up and down, and we are like right about going to be at the peak before all of it goes back down into a good way, into it's like the last bit of motivation. It's like they're showing me we need the last little bit of this motivation to just really propel us into this like swing of upwards motion. It's not showing me a swing into downwards like you would think, like, oh, I'm going down into a spiral. No, it's actually showing me that like we're almost at the top and you just need this last little push of energy before we can like have this fun ride, you know? And I do see it as like a roller coaster, and like everyone in the roller coaster is like having a fun time. It's not anywhere scary. It's like the beginning, you know, of the beginning of the ride. You're going up this like hill. It seems like really scary, like lots of things have been happening, but once you're at the top, it's like you can see over all of this land and you can just see everything in a different perspective. And then the roller coaster goes around, and then everyone's laughing and everyone's having so much fun, and it's like we're almost there as a collective. And I'm also seeing them like imagining as if you were, like I've done this as a meditation where you imagine yourself outside of the earth and you see the earth from like space, and imagine yourself sending earth that energy, and it kind of shows it in like an upside down, like you almost like you're sending this like pillar of white light energy from you to earth, and it's like showing me that we're just at that, like almost over that the hump of the upside down you. We're almost sending all of that energy. And so now, excuse me, I'm burping, confirmation. And so we're just seeing that energy going towards the earth. And that's what I'm just imagining. It was like kind of showing me at first, like not stopping. It's so slowing. And I think it's because like a lot of people are getting freaking fed up. Like some people are really like not doing well financially or emotionally or with their relationships. Like it's been like, it feels like the last year, the last 2-3 years, obviously since 2020 has been a little bit of a whirlwind. So it's now showing me like, don't give up. Like it's showing like almost like, oh, this is a better analogy. Okay, think of it as like a train going up a hill. Like I think you can. You're almost at the top, and then once you're at the top, it's like that last little bit of like that push before you're back on track. That's a better analogy, I think, to see it as like a train. And it's like just imagining, even if you can in your mind's eye, this white light going to earth. And the more people I feel like imagine just the earth as a collective being showered in this loving white light energy, the more it's going to, you know, have an impact. And I've been shown this white light energy for years now. And I've done a meditation on it, and yeah, I've done my own personal meditations, and I've recorded meditations about it. Okay, so I'm just tapping back in, seeing what else they're showing me. It's kind of like showing almost like this white light energy almost going through like the sun to get to us. And so I'm hearing like, don't be afraid of the sun. Like a lot of people fear the sun, and it's not necessarily, it's not something to fear. You know, like, yes, being moderate about sun usage and UV rays and all of that stuff is important, but they're just telling me to not fear the sun, whatever that means for you. There's actually very powerful things coming from the sun, like from their rays. And part of the reason this higher, I don't want to use the word elite, but like this higher power over Earth doesn't want us to be open to the sun. There's a reason. So it's like kind of showing me like the sun, like I'm seeing it like a movie almost. So I'm seeing like the sun beating down, and everyone's like in this field, and they're like laughing and they're like joyous, and it's like, it's almost like the rays are like these like light, if you imagine it as like light rain, like where it's like raining like light drops, not raindrops, but it's like raining light drops, and everyone's like euphoric, like it's magical. And then it's almost like you see this like metal like cover doming over, and it starts to cloud over, and it starts to get really like, and everyone's putting on their like protection from the sun, and everything's protecting from the sun, but really that's not necessarily always a good thing. And then as this like shield goes over this like earth, everyone gets really sad. And it's like, if you think about seasonal affectiveness disorder, and I'm not saying like, obviously there's some things we can't control, like the weather, but it feels like a deeper meaning than that. It's like, just don't fear the sun. So now I'm just imagining like everyone on this earth putting their mind towards opening that shield again. And if everyone can just put their mind towards opening that shield, and then I'm seeing it slowly back off. And before you know it, the sun, light, rain is beating back down on these people, and they're dancing, and even harder now because they realize how precious this is and like how they really felt being shielded from it. And so they're rejoicing, they're even more euphoric, like, and because they all collectively have experienced this, their power over this shield is like 1,000 times greater. So the power of the mind, power of collective mind, is so powerful. So just I'm tapping in one more time, just seeing if there's anything else. So I've been seeing this visualization for like a week now, or not even a week, a few days now. Well, actually, I guess I could say it's about a week. It kind of came in about a week ago, but it was very like in the back of my mind, and now I had a relaxing weekend, and it came to my forefront, and now it's showing again of, you know, sitting in a field and with all these children around. And it's like, I don't think it's children coming in. I think it's like the inner children of the people, the collective. Inner children have been coming to me a lot in readings. And I was kind of like, okay, like what? I kind of thought I was being redundant. Like, I'm like, why is this happening? Now I realize I feel like there needs to be a collective inner child healing going on. And so I think this is showing me, like, it shows me as a person, and I'm teaching these inner children. And so I think this is also showing that, like, you can tap into that inner child, and you can teach that inner child things about yourself, and they can teach you things about themselves. It sounds kind of out there for some people, but just getting into a meditation, getting into a place, connecting through even doing art or something that you used to do as a child that brings you back to being a child. And even just imagine when you're doing those things, like, say, for me, it was always art. So that's why I say art. Like, you know, when I'm coloring, or when I'm doing even like my digital art, or if I'm doing painting, I'm constantly like thinking about how I was as a child. And sometimes I'll tap in and be like, hey, like, look at what I'm doing now. Like, you know, and it's about connecting that part and potentially healing that part. Like, not everyone needs that healing, but even just, you know, not simple, but like someone who hasn't gone through trauma still can benefit from connecting in with your inner child. We all get stuck in this like very third dimensional adult, like, go to work, come home from work, go to gym, go to library, come home, eat dinner. Like, we're kind of stuck in this adult routine, and sometimes it's as little, or it's as simple as just doing those little things that would have brought you joy as a child. Some people even buy buy toys that maybe they couldn't have when they were a kid, or their parents never had the money for it, or it was always something that your parents didn't approve of, or whatever it may be. And you might think now, like, oh, that's silly, like, I'm an adult, I don't need like a toy or a Barbie. Or I highly suggest just buy it and just sit with the feeling and see how you feel once you do something that you were never allowed to do as a child, or something that you absolutely loved doing as a child and you haven't done it since you were a child. Connecting in with that childlike self is going to help your mundane day-to-day life. It's bringing in this childlike wonder that we see the world in. And you always say, like, well, I always say, at least, children are so smart. Like, they're so connected, and they're so like advanced spiritually without us having to like put these like boxes around them. And so connecting in with that inner childlike self can really help you think more outside the box, and not be so bogged down with these like limitations that we set for ourselves. Because why? Like, because our parents told us that when we're at 30 we need to have XYZ before we can feel happy. Like, no. And so it's just really showing me, like, everyone in this collective really connecting in with that part of themselves. And to me, they always show around like 7 to like 10, but whatever resonates for you. I'm just a guide. I'm just here to guide you in a general direction. And if you want to connect in with your teen self, that's great. Like, if you want to go do something that you loved doing when you were a teenager, go for it. And act like you were when you were a teen. Like, I'm seeing like what's that called? Go-kart racing or something, like doing something that you used to do all the time that you haven't done in a long time because, you're whatever. Make time for that. And it doesn't have to be something going out of your house. Like I said, it could be as simple as art. It could be drawing. It could be coloring. It could be Play-Doh. Like, go buy a Play-Doh set. Make Play-Doh. Make a cake. It's just something that connects you in with that version of yourself. And then once you're in that version of yourself, asking yourself the questions of, how do I feel right now? How can I incorporate this more often? Connecting in, saying, hey, younger self, like, you'd be so proud of like where I'm at right now. Or, I see you, younger self, like, you felt so sad or happy or whatever at this time when you used to like doing Lego or whatever it may be. So I think this reading is just really showing that as a collective, it's almost like we need to tap into that innocence of a child, that childlike wonder, that light feeling of when you didn't have responsibilities and you felt a little bit more free in life. If we can somehow merge that, so even just for 20 minutes, we feel that feeling, no phone or, no nothing to distract us, and we just be in that moment and think, or an hour even, like, go 20 minutes, then go an hour the next day. Just really tapping into that collective inner child work. And then also showing us that our minds are really powerful, and as a collective we can be even more powerful. So sending that love and light and that white light energy to Mother Earth and everyone who walks on it, which is including yourself, your friends, your loved ones, your hated ones, your animals, your everyone. When you're sending it to Earth, we're not seeing Earth as good or bad or classified or, everyone deserves this light. So just sending it to Mother Earth as a whole, and just if you're a visual person, imagine that every once in a while. And I challenge you to also expand on that if you like to, because meditation or guided visualization doesn't have to be where I sit down and I calm every part of my body and I get into this perfect position and this perfect mindset of not thinking. I am a very visual person, so I see things play out like movies. So for me, when I send white light energy, I just go with it. I let go of what I should be seeing, and I just let it play out. And it might not make sense. It might be like, wow, why is this showing up? And then either at the end of the meditation, days later, or even after I've Googled, like, what's the meaning of whatever I saw? Then often I get that aha, or it could be even years. I've had it where it's years down the line, I start to realize, wow, that thing I did 2 years ago was so significant, and I had no idea at the time. And the more we engage this imagination and this visualization, the easier it is. It's really hard at first, and I used to not be able to visualize for more than a few seconds. And now I can go, 45 minutes to an hour if I wanted to, and guide myself through. So it's all a learning process, and I hope that this helps in some way and reaches the people it's supposed to reach. And just taking a minute to maybe ground yourself, drinking lots of water, because even if you're not actively visualizing what I'm telling you, you're still getting these activations. Even just words can activate ourselves on this low level. So drinking lots of water and taking lots of care for yourself every day, but today for sure. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.